go back home.
You gotta go home?
I got to pick up some because you got to have this, and I left it.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
get it.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's very
We're gonna try to move.
well, it ain't much I got to do. I stay.
We don't have much
We
to
should
do.
be through anyway.
Exactly.
In a few minutes. Let me take that. It shouldn't
We're
take
gonna
long.
play a minute, okay?
Okay, 1 minute, we'll be through.
This work session of the Selma City Council is hereby called to order. It is Thursday, October the 20th, 2022. At this time, we're gonna ask everyone to please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening, thanking you for this day. We thank you, dear God, for letting all of us come together right now to try to work to resolve some issues on behalf of our city. We thank you, dear God, for letting us live in Selma, Alabama. We thank you, dear God, for Selma. And Heavenly Father, we lift this city up to you and ask that you make it the best it possibly can be. Dear God, we pray for continued protection for all of our citizens, for all of our loved ones, our families, our neighbors. We pray, dear God, that you continue to bless us, lead us, guide us. For this is our prayer in your precious Son, Jesus. Let each and every one of us say, amen. Amen. Let us now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. You may be seated. How you doing, Councilman?
Hey, Councilman Randall, I'm looking good there. So I want you to know, it's looking good there.
That's good. Now we have roll call of all council members that are present. Council President Young, present. Councilman Harville, I know he's here. All right, thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Christy Thomas. All right. Councilman Carmichael, I thought I saw him come in.
He's in the back.
Okay. Councilwoman Lisa James.
Yes.
All right, very good. Councilman Randolph. All right, Councilman Jemison. Okay, Woman Jamie Thomas.
Present.
Okay, and then Councilman Michael Johnson. All right, we thank you, Council, for responding to our roll call. At this time, we're going to go ahead and get started with our citizens' request for the evening. We're going to ask all citizens that are on the agenda for this evening to remember the 3 to 5 minute limit for presentations as citizens. We have 5 citizens on deck for tonight. And we'll first start with Miss Carolyn Pickett. I'm sorry, Miss Carolyn Pickett. Is Miss Carolyn Pickett present with us? Miss Carolyn Pickett. Miss Carolyn Pickett. All right. We'll go next to Mr. Culpepper. Mr. Culpepper here to discuss sewer issue resolved. Mr. Culpepper. Mr. Culpepper. All right, we'll move on to our next speaker, Mr. Donald Shoemate. Mr. Donald Shoemate. Mr. Donald Shoemate. All right, we'll move on to the next citizen. Good evening. McNaughton Daniel. All right, and now we'll move on to our last speaker, Ms. Myra Dawson, to discuss the cleaner Selma. Ms. Myra Dawson. All right, we'll let the record reflect that each citizen was called to present. However, no one was present to present. So we'll move on to announcements to the council. And we're very, very pleased this evening to have with us a new friend, but a very good friend. He happens to serve as the superintendent of the Selma City Schools, and I think this is his first time, before the Selma City Council. And so we're going to give him a little time to present and come as he chooses to come. And so at this time, Council, and everyone present, let's welcome our superintendent, Dr. Bird. And Dr. Bird, you can come up right up there to the podium so everyone can see and hear.
All right. Well, then thank you all so very much. Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
I just want to say I want to thank you all so much for the opportunity and the invitation to join you all on tonight. I am honored to serve as superintendent of Selma City Schools, and I am so thankful for the warm reception that I have received from many of you. Council President Young, I truly thank you so much for the greetings and for the support, and of course, any advice, of course, what you have given over these past few weeks, of course, with Ms. James and with so many of you all I've had the pleasure of actually meeting from time to time. Again, I'm just here on tonight to let you all know that I am ready to serve. I'm ready to serve the city of Selma, all of you all, into moving our great city forward. And of course, we know that as a part of moving our great city forward, we must have a thriving and productive school system. And so I am here to serve. And so in my role as serving as superintendent, I've been engaged with our community, with our employees, with our students, trying to figure out what we can do to address Selma City Schools. And I'm so excited that we have been able to address a lot of those issues. So as a part of listening to our parents, listening to our students, listening to our employees, I have learned a lot of things. And so in learning those things, we have actually acted upon those things. Because we have to be real, we have to be truthful and honest, and ask ourselves what are the things that are actually plaguing Selma City Schools. I believe in being totally honest and being transparent. Last year we lost about 400 students. The year before that we lost about 300. The year before that we lost about another 200. So within the past 5 years, between 5 and 10 years, we've lost over about 1,000 students. And so that equates to, of course, a lot of funding that has been lost for Selma City Schools. Just in losing 400 students this year, we actually experienced almost a $4 million shortfall in state funding because we lost our students. And so we've had to dig and we had to figure out why we lost so many students. Why are our parents not satisfied with Selma City Schools? And so that has been my mission to figure out. And so I found out, of course, that our parents didn't feel as though that we valued them in our school. And so as a result of that, we had to go in and we had to figure out exactly what they were saying. They were saying that the customer service was poor. You go up to the schools and of course, people are not greeting you like you should be greeted, or people are not answering your questions. And so we decided that we were going to fix that. And so in Selma City Schools, we have transformed in the manner of that we're going to provide all of our parents and all of our students with great customer service. We're going to provide them with that service that you will receive at these fine restaurants. You know, Chick-fil-A is known for great customer service. So in Selma City Schools, we have this thing. We're going to give you that Chick-fil-A kind of service. And so when you call our schools, you should notice a difference. When you walk into our schools, you should notice a difference. And if you are not receiving that service, just like you have at a restaurant where you're able to call in and give feedback, we have a QR code where a parent can actually point their phone and actually give us feedback, and guess what? And it comes straight to me. And so I know the school, I know the individual, and I know exactly what parents are saying. And so we have, in these types of conversations and engaging our parents, and we have actually found out other things as well. But not only with our parents, we have to value our employees, because we know that an organization is only as good as the employees that you have. And so engaging with our employees, we found out things that our employees feel overworked, underpaid, just like, of course, everything that we're dealing with around here. We found out that our employees felt as though that we were asking them for too much, and so we had to go in and actually find out those things that were redundant, those things that we can actually cut down on, and again, just listening to them and making them feel as though that they're valued. We went in and we started to offer incentives so that we can actually draw and keep the best employees. So we have recruitment incentives where we ask people to come, but not only ask people to come, but we ask people to stay. You know, and I tell people all the time, you know, money might actually get employees to come, but money won't be the reason why employees stay. And so you have to value your employees. And so we've been on a mission to do that. But most importantly, we've been engaging with our students, making sure that our students are happy. our students shared that they felt as though that they were in a prison sometimes. They felt as though that they were made to suffer for the misguided attempts of others. And so we have gone in and tried to fix that, because we already know when we were in school, we had fun in school, we had activities in school, we had pep rallies in school, we had dances in schools. And so we've been on a mission to bring those things back. So in all, this year, we have engaged in a theme to rethink, reignite, redesign, and transform Selma City Schools. And so we have engaged in a 40-day campaign that just wrapped up. But the whole premise of that 40-day campaign has been centered on building trust. We've been asking parents and stakeholders to complete surveys, and when they complete those surveys, we want them to see that we were actually listening to everything that they said. So this week we actually had a town hall meeting, and I was just so excited to hear from parents that they felt that they completed the survey and they began to see things turn around just like that, because I read every response. And so if you tell me whether in that school or a person has given you bad customer service, you had a problem with, I'm going to this school and we're going to figure out exactly what's going on. And so all of this is a part of actually rebuilding trust. That's the only way that we're going to get people back in our school. That's going to be the only way that we're going to get people to trust us again, is that they have to see it in action. And so that has been our mission, and I can go on and on and on. And for those of you all that have been, of course, with the Kiwanis Club, with the Rotary Club, and everything else, you know you give me a time limit, and I always go over. And so I don't want to do that on tonight. And so again, I'm just happy to be here. I am here to serve you. And so if you have any questions, and of course, I tell everybody wedding that I want to be held accountable. And so if something is not going right in Selma City Schools, please feel free to call me to the carpet. I will come right down here, give you the explanation to the best of my ability, and try to work on getting it fixed. And so I'm so thankful to be here. Thank you all so much for having me. And I'm here for you and to answer any questions that you all may have.
All right. Does any council members have any comments or questions?
No questions?
No questions?
But I just want to welcome you to Selma again. If you went to Selma, raise your hand. Oh, Selma. So we will.
And I'm a graduate of Concordia. And I'm a graduate of Concordia.
That's right.
So, I may not have graduated from Selma, but I graduated from Concordia. So I'm right here with you.
What year you was there?
I graduated in 99. I was there from 96 to 99.
Okay, I graduated from Concordia too. That was before your time.
Yes.
Yeah, 86.
Yes.
Come on, Jack.
Dr. Bird, what I want to see is, I want to see a closer relationship with the school system in the city.
Yes.
Because we're supposed to be like a glove.
Yes.
And I just want you to continue to do what you do. From the time you've been here, we can see the changes, and I appreciate you. But we just want to be more involved in the school system.
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever we can do to help bring our kids' test scores up, the morale of the schools, just let us know, because we want to be a glove that fit.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, thank you so much.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Well, Dr. Bird, I just want you to know, from the moment you come to Selma, I think I've told you this before, I detected a very good spirit.
Yes.
And your positivity and your ability to just get in there and find the issue and work on it is wonderful. And it's refreshing. And your sincerity really, really goes a long way. I know that you care about our students. You care about our people here in Selma. And so we appreciate you. And I think everyone may have said it already, but we're with you. Because we realize Selma doesn't go where it needs to go if our school system isn't where it needs to be. They work hand in hand and they are intimately connected. So whatever we can do to help you, we know we're helping Selma City Schools. Again, welcome to Selma. And as a graduate of Selma High School, once the same, always the same. Let's give it a round of applause.
Thank you.
All right.
We know you're busy, so.
Yes, thank you so much.
Very good. All right. Have any of our speakers, citizens' concerns, have any of them arrived?
She.
Okay. What's your name?
I am Beyonce Daniel.
Okay. Ms. Daniel, you can come forward now, and you have 5 minutes to make your presentation.
What's your shirt say?
It said always late. I said,
Always late, but worth the wait. I got you. That's good.
Good evening to everybody. I am a resident on Cahaba and right across from the new Miller Cemetery. Before purchasing the house, it wasn't there, so I didn't think that it was gonna come. But it's there now and no one asked. I thought that maybe they would have asked the residents in the neighborhood, like, hey, would it be okay to put a cemetery right in front of you guys? So I was wondering, since it's there, could we ask them to put up like maybe a 6-foot privacy wall? So like this weekend, I think they buried one individual already. And where this young man is buried is right on the Hoover, right across from the animal hospital. So I'm riding by, me and my kids in the car, and a loved one is grieving. But we stopped right in front of them. And my little one's like, oh, Mom, what's wrong? She's just staring at the ground. No, babe, she's mourning, but it's okay. But I kind of don't want to explain that every time that there's something so precious and memorable for a family member, because if it was mine, I wouldn't want to be mourning while cars are driving by and everybody's just looking like, what's going on over there? So do you think that it would be possible for them to maybe help with that? Put up maybe a privacy fence for the loved ones who are grieving and for the ones on the outside looking, because like I'm directly in front of them.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I don't know if the council has the right to ask them,
But I don't know.
but we can't just ask them, ask them to put up a wall,
Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to ask.
Correct, Councilman.
I've had some conversations with them, that's my ward at Clay Carmichael.
Okay.
I hope you have my number, if not, I'll give it to you, I'll make sure you get it.
Yes, sir.
I don't mind talking to him about that. I think he had planned on putting some shrubbery behind that fence.
Okay.
To kind of make a garden. But I'll double check with him, and like I said, I'll follow up with him.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
And since it is Councilman Carmichael's ward, you can speak to him about shrubbery and whatever, and also mention maybe if he can do a fence or whatever.
Yeah.
And just let us know what you come up with. All right? Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate it.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Attorney.
I have one question. How do you pronounce your first name?
Meante.
Meonte.
Like filet mignon.
Thank you.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
an ante. That was easy, right? Thank
Pleasure
y'all.
to meet you. Thank you for coming
Thank
to the
you.
council. All right. Now, council, we'll move on. We did receive the mayor's report, I think by email earlier this week, so make sure you look over that before Tuesday, as we will be voting on some of these items. So just go over those items. If you have any questions, you can read those questions with you as well on Tuesday. Yes, ma'am.
One thing I would like to, for him to bring with us, the 2 resolutions on the public work emergency.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to have him to bring the PO, the amount that already on there. And I'll explain to you why I'm asking that. According to the, we use it as stating that it was an emergency. But I've been reading, they put out the new Alabama competitive bid in public work law manual. So I looked up on the emergency, when we do emergency, and there was some other that we make sure that we do get, we received a resolution, but the only thing that I had a problem with was said no more than 25,000.
I'll let you finish, but I was gonna say something.
Okay.
I think those two, and for future, you're dead on, and we need to pay attention to that. These two, I think, took care of themselves because the one on Boyd and Public Works fixed.
Okay.
And the one on Kopecki, Public Works did go out and inspect it, and it was on the customer and not the city.
Okay.
So those two resolved themselves,
So Borkin
and Kopecki are taking.
so we didn't have to do no work.
With
So-
no outside work, Public Works took care of both of them.
Okay, but then we still getting a resolution saying.
So
We got this back in our email again.
Yeah, I don't know why you put the
But
resolution.
the reason why I'm asking this, because we have to be very, when we get these resolutions like that, and it's saying that the work was done by, what's the?
And outside tri-county.
Yes, Tri-County. And if this work been done by Tri-County, Public Works did it out, we need to have that attached to how much that was. And it did say, when I told y'all we need to look in our, that state examiner, new law would start at September the 30th of 2022. It did have that in there too. It did say that when we do contract work now, that we need to, as the council, we need to have the attachment. When we do resolution like this was emergency, it said that we need to have the attachment to it. Everything put together before we vote and pass. And that was the reason why I'm looking at this and I keep reading this. This is the second time it's come up. So I took my time to go through to see. And I just want us to, I'm looking out for all of us up here. And because there's a new law now through the state examiner when they audited through our report. All our documents got to be in place. And that's why I asked all of us to look at this and look at the things that they are requiring, that we make sure that we abide by. That's all I ask.
President Young, point of privilege, if I may.
Yes.
First of all, I don't disagree with anything Councilwoman Thomas just said. Second of all, it was an emergency resolution. Third of all, I was concerned about the state was not more than $25,000 myself, but due to the emergency nature, I didn't want to hold up a sewage spill, overspill issue. That's not a typical, that's not a protocol, a typical routine for anything we've done in the past, and nor should it be. And as far as I'm concerned, nor will it be. In talking with the engineer, Meredith Stone, all the information she gave me, believe it or not, was in the actual resolution. It was almost verbatim. It was verbatim, because I pulled it straight out of the email that she sent me. I wanted it in writing beforehand, because I knew specificity was going to be extremely important, not having had a chance to go over all this with the contractors and not having had the numbers and everything I wanted. That's why I also stated, if you recall, I was willing to take back, or have the last two resolutions withdrawn, because I had those concerns I voiced about the missing information. That's along the same lines Councilwoman Thomas is talking about now. Okay. I said I would withdraw them, and I considered them. I think you even responded, or someone responded, and said that, yeah, you can withdraw them.
All right. Well, with both of those been resolved, these are all very good points, and that's great, but we can move on. But thank y'all for raising those issues. Now, let's move on to the attorney's report. And I know I saw 2 items of the report. I think you informed me that you have some things you want to provide for information purposes on.
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I can use this microphone right here if you don't mind. The 2 items, good evening, first of all.
Good evening.
The 2 items on the report, on my report, the attorney's report, are carryover items. Both of them are emanated from tax and license. Both of them involve funding. The first ordinance 0115-21/22 was actually drafted before the beginning of the new fiscal year. And I'll do a little due diligence on whether or not it should be changed if it's being voted on now. But it originated before the end of the fiscal year 21-22. That's why it has 21-22 fiscal year in the suffix. But it's a business license issuance fee increase. The state of Alabama is the only one who can authorize a fee increase for licenses statewide. They have done that in a statute. I believe the statute is included in my report, 40-23-7. And apparently every 5 years they review based on cost of living increases and costing in general, and decide what would be the state authorized increase. It's $12 now. They've authorized an increase of $2 per fee, per license fee. $2 increase in the license fee, not the license issuance fee. Not the cost of the license itself, but the cost to issue the license. That's what this is about. And the tax and license director requested that $2 fee be assessed by the city in adopting this new recommendation from the state of Alabama. It's authorized by statute. I don't see any problem with it. It's the will of the council.
We'll just need to get a new number for it, correct? For the order.
I think because you're voting on it in the new fiscal year, I probably should change it, and I should probably do the same thing with the second one.
Okay. If you can provide us with that new number, that'll be great.
I can get that in the morning.
Okay, all right.
It's pretty fast process.
Hey, council, help me out. Did we refer this one to committee?
No.
We haven't referred this one to committee yet? Okay, well, on this one, it's pretty standard. It's pretty standard. And so, what we can take this, once we get the new number, we can vote up or down to place this on first read, because it is an ordinance. And so we'll have to go through the proper channels and procedures since it is an ordinance. Go ahead, Councilwoman Thomas.
And, I just got one question. You just said that the state
adjusts on a 5-year basis the issuance fees for licenses.
Oh, talking about like when you say license like the license fee that anyone comes down there to get for their business, or is
not the license itself, the fee that's attached to the license simply for issuing it.
Okay. If I have any more questions, I've been reading up on it. That's the reason I wanted to ask you, because when I give my vote, I want to get a good understanding on this.
I can send a copy of the statute tomorrow.
That'll be helpful.
Yes.
Yes.
That'd be helpful.
I'll make
Thank
that
you.
notation.
Okay, so we can get the copy of the statute as well as the updated number, then we can proceed. All right?
And by the way, Councilwoman, that ordinance, that statute was what I was just reading.
I think you got it included in the
You got it in here.
ordinance as
I
well.
do, but I think I read the wrong one. I read the second one. The correct statute is 11-51-90 Code of Alabama 75.
Okay.
All right.
11-51-90. And our municipal code section is 16-27.
Right.
License issuance fee section.
All right. Well, we look forward to getting that information. And then what was the second item on your report?
The second item is also a tax, arose out of tax and license. It's a collection of sales tax delinquency, which currently reads 0116-21/22. And as we were just discussing, I've recommended it be changed to 22-23 fiscal year ordinance number.
Was that one, council? Did we refer that one to committee?
This never been in the committee.
This second item?
This second item never been in the committee. I'm
Put
talking.
a couple of them.
I know what you put in there.
This was not on committee?
No, this is not in the committee. Because you know why it's not in the committee? Because it is asking us to, doing the business of the sales tax in 90 days, like a late fee or something else that, I think that.
Oh, yes, this one needs to go to committee.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I know
yes.
I keep up with what's
Yes.
in it. This never been in the committee. And we have to make sure that, I've been reading on this, and we got to make sure that we want to discuss it.
Council, is there any objection in placing this in the revenue committee, because we need to go through this one a little thoroughly? Okay, no objection? Okay, Mr. Chairman, we'll place this one in revenue committee.
Understood.
All right.
And one of the other reasons my report was as short as it was, I didn't want you all to think I didn't have very much to do. I have a list of all the items my secretary, executive assistant, and I could find. Well, I don't want to kid anybody, she did the researching. I've got a list of day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to-year running to-do list. I pulled everything we could find, asked her to pull everything she could find for the last, I think, 90 days. It was either 90 or 120 days that you all had asked me to do. And I'm diligently working on that list. As a matter of fact, I got about answers to about a third of stuff on the list. And I'll be bringing it forth as soon as I can finish that list. I'll be bringing forth those items you've asked me to report on. That's it. That's my report.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, council, we'll move on now under the business items. And Councilwoman Thomas, you have the first two.
Okay, this is, Oh, the reason, these are very, when I told the council before in the last council meeting, this is a public safety, emergency public safety issue. Something just happened before I came to council meeting on Valley Creek. I couldn't leave, I was already here. On Valley Creek, you know, I called, I told y'all I had called and told them about Valley Creek, that cave, how big it was and all the dirt was under it. And I asked Public Works to bring a barrel out. I called the mayor office to the secretary, and I asked her, could they bring a barrel out? And she said, I'll get back with you. She did get back with me, and then she did say that Public Works, at the time, they said they were doing minimum work on the minimum pay or something. And I said, well, this is emergency. And she said, they would try to get one. And I went back later on, they did bring one. But I thought they would have maybe taken it off or something. This man done went over there and his car fell in the rest of the street and caved in. His car, he messed his tires up. And I thought maybe I asked the engineer, which we is Public Works, I addressed this issue to this body, that these were two emergency problems that need to be taken care of. They have not just started. It has been going on for a couple of years and it got out of control. It been caved in. So we need to ask immediately for the engineer, Mr. President, we need the engineer out there immediately in the morning. Take care of this, because I told them I will go back out there when I leave here to take pictures to look at it. They called me and I said, I'm on my way, I got to go to the meeting, we'll get somebody out there. He busted tires. And I don't know why they moved the barrel, because I knew it was going to cave in, because it didn't have any more dirt to hold it up. And somebody moved that barrel, and we had some rain, and then more, if you ain't got no nothing up under that, they're already gone. So that's how it's caught. So I'm gonna go back out there and when I leave here and go over and look. And I hope somebody hear me can go out there tonight and put some more barrel and some tape so no one can drive across it. It's Valley Creek. Valley Creek and Law.
Yes, ma'am. And the best, I think you might want to call Ms. Ellison too and tell her to get her on it too.
Yeah, I have put the, I had her.
Already.
This been put in so many times.
Yes, ma'am.
It has never been taken care of.
Okay.
My next is Lauderdale and Milton. Now, Lauderdale and Milton, same way. We got to take care of this. I was called by Chad. Anything that go on in Ward 7, I have made documentation. I put the work orders in, and I'm asking them to follow up if they will start. I would like to do this, Mr. President. I would like to have to do and put in an ordinance or a resolution, something in place. When we put work orders in, we should receive back that they complete this work. We need to look and see. Because if we keep putting the same work order in and no one has respond to it or send it back saying that the work has been repaired, it doesn't make sense to keep putting 5 or 6 work orders in. So I would like to find an easy way for us to work, for the Secretary of Public Works and our Secretary, that we would get some information back that these things are being taken care of. Because we got so many work orders in that has not been taken care of. And when we run into these problems, the citizen looks at the person in the resident. And everybody knows I've been putting work order in and talking about the same thing over. So I want to take care of, we need to take care of this before we get it. It's already bad. When you put something down, they take it up. And then another car comes across and they tie drop you. If you go across the middle, if you go across there now, you ain't gonna see it, nobody. Because they done took the corn. We put the corn there to try to keep it from driving. They remove the corn. So at night when you drive across there, then the first thing your front end tire down there. So we need to immediately take care of this. This is an emergency. We need to take care of it.
Okay. Yeah, but you said something about try to put something in place
Yes.
from the legislative side.
Yes.
Perhaps we can draft some type of resolution that says, you know, after the work has been completed, something is sent back.
Yeah, we need to.
I think that's a good follow-up mechanism.
Yeah, we need to.
We're gonna have difficulty following up. I'm gonna get you, Councilman Randolph, and then, Councilman Carpenter.
I think, every administration, we passed a resolution like that already.
We did.
Might want to do some
Research on that?
Yeah, do some research on it.
We'll, with the clerk here on Tuesday, we'll ask her, make a request. Okay, good idea. Go ahead, Councilman Carpenter.
And if there's not, or we can't find anything, I've got it on my agenda for the next Public Works Committee meeting to try to
Good.
figure that out.
Okay, I'm just taking notes. Does that complete your items, Councilwoman Thomas?
It was very important. I can't think of it. Can you go to you and?
And if you remember.
Yeah, I can come back, because I want you to put it, this is very important.
Yes, ma'am. I got you. All right, mine won't take very long. Council, I just passed out to each of you a film permit application. Mr. Attorney, I don't know if you've seen it already. This was from, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Vasca Studios. It's related to the tourism, Alabama Tourism Board. This is another film permit application that they submitted. They want to do the production on Monday. You can have this one, Mr. Attorney. And Ms. Cheryl Smedley has already reached out to me already. And from looking at it, it looks like it may be exempt. A lot of times people confuse exemption and waiver. That's a common misconception. If it's a waiver request, if they send something to us and ask us to waive the fee, then that will require an actual vote from the council, if there's a waiver request. But now if someone says, I'm entitled to an exemption, that means we don't have to vote on it. That means under the law, this law doesn't apply to them to make them have to pay. So looking at it, just, you know, first glance, for Ms. Smedley and also the application being is from the Alabama Tourism Board, it looks like it may be exempt. This is very similar to one that we had not very long ago from the Alabama Tourism Board. I think you all remember. I think it's the same type of situation. So what we can do, I put it on the agenda tonight as a work session item for me. We're gonna let the attorney look at it and make sure that it is subject to the exemption. Being that the event is on Monday, we won't meet again to vote on it regardless anyway by the time Monday rolls around. But if we have to Tuesday, if we have to do something retroactively, perhaps that we can. But take a look at it, everybody that's got it, pass it out, and I also will share with you the email from Ms. Smedley from the chamber. Go ahead, Councilman Carpenter.
This is just my recollection, and I may not be right, but I was thinking the last one had news in it.
It had news in it.
And I don't think this one actually says commercial in it. So it says, which means it's advertising or something.
Right.
And so I just don't see where this one would be exempt, but that's just my opinion on glancing at it. Since I've got 10 minutes.
Council President Young, I'm not ready to weigh in on the decision yet till I finish going through this more thoroughly, but there is a question I have about the currency of this form. It still lists $250.
It still lists $250.
You know something?
That was the other thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the one from State Tourism Board. The one that she sent me is related to the Bird Trail project.
Yeah, and this takes tourism too.
Is this Bird Trail project?
Yeah, but it's still the tourism.
This is Bird Trail.
Yeah.
And it is Alabama.
They're promoting the year in verdict is what they're doing.
It's a promotional project. It says this is a promotional project, not only for our state, but for our community. That's the main thing in there. Well, let's take a look at it, guys, and see if they're subject to the exemption. Being that it's from the Alabama State Tourism Board, which is a public board, wouldn't that give some type of weight to it? The fact that it's from
that's not listed under our exemptions that I can see. We've got filming or recording current news, filming or recording for private or family use, filming or recording for a school project, recording in the direction of the city, and then filming at an entertainment venue, and filming within a legally established, properly zoned, properly licensed commercial motion picture, television, radio, or photography studio, so long as the city resources are not required for such film. So it's not in the studio, basically, for that last one. But it doesn't say other government entities are exempt.
It's a commercial and social media.
Let's take a look at it, for sure. And then if we do need to vote on whether or not it's a waiver, we'll have to vote on that.
And
if it is a
Council,
waiver.
the first thing I'm gonna recommend is that they fill out the current form.
But this is the old one.
That's the only one.
that they had.
And the reason I'm sure it is because after you passed the ordinance changing the fee, I went back and changed the form to reflect the current fee.
It probably
and that it
is.
was after the latest action taken by the council.
Where does this say commercial in here now?
On page 5,
Page 5.
top number 6.
Commercial and social media.
It's page 5, item 6. 5 and 6.
Is it saying this is,
It's a 6-hour production with 11 participants.
Wow. They make a movie.
all right, let's check it out and we'll see. And then we'll go from there. But we know by Monday, if it's a scheduled date, I don't know how we gonna handle that. If it's,
What can't,
they're scheduled to do it Monday.
what can't you let them know before Monday?
But can I say, reason is probably 6 hours, my daughter and son-in-law, we into the bird. Those birds just don't come. You have to sit and wait sometime for a different bird to come by. So that could be why they got 6 hours. Now sometimes it takes us 3 to 4 hours to find a bird. So I know about birding.
Read from the list of the exemptions again, Councilman Hartsfield.
It's filming or recording for 1, current news, 2, for private or family use, 3, for use in a school project, 4, 5, or at the direction of the city. And then the others are, specific areas in a live entertainment venue or in a studio. But those are the 5 exemptions.
Where did we get news from the last time? We had something on
Yeah, the last one said something for news. It was a news production.
Right.
With the state tourism.
in the ordinance. Where does it say news at it?
That's the first one, film or recording current news.
Current news.
Yeah.
Put it down the SFA.
Yeah, it was the tourism.
It was for the Alabama Tourism Board, but they had that news in there.
Yeah, the name of the company was something news.
See, this is basically the infomercial.
What kind of?
This
It's a promotion.
Yeah, this is gonna basically be an infomercial that they're trying to, for the state tourism board.
Right.
And so,
I got mine.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's for the state tourism board. Okay, well, let's, again, how do we need to handle it? If it's set up for Monday, what do we need to do?
We need to.
Mr. Turner, any suggestions?
That's what needs.
I have what may not turn out to be the best suggestion for this, but I do have a suggestion. Number one, that they fill out the correct form.
Mhm.
So they will actually know what the fee is, whether you charge it or not. And everybody should get the same information. Because if we're giving some people 250, somebody else 1,000 or 1,500 if they're within 30 days, you're gonna have a problem right there.
As I sit here,
And then the next part of that is, did I just hear, you probably need an ordinance if you wanna make it an exemption? You can't get one passed out by Tuesday.
Right.
But you do wanna consider for future purposes, whether or not you wanna add another exemption category to the form, and that would be for the Alabama tourism. Yes, they do have money, and they're also making the infomercial to try to bring business to Alabama. So it's 6 on one hand, half dozen on the other.
Yeah.
I've got a recommendation that I think everybody we can swallow for right now. This is scheduled for this Monday. Okay? We will not be voting before this Monday. We won't vote anyway until Tuesday. I do agree the correct application field permit application needs to be filled out. Perhaps since the charge is on there,
So if they got to pay,
they can pay up front, and then depending on the determination of whether or not an exemption applies, then we can vote Tuesday whether or not they will actually have to pay it.
To accept it.
Yeah.
To accept it. So they can give us the check, maybe we can hold it, and get it from there. And I see my good friend with her hand up.
Okay, look, I know y'all have to work out these details, but I've been the film liaison and tourism division for the city of Selma through the Chamber of Commerce. And I've been following this. The birding trail is like the civil rights trail. It's not equal, but I'm just giving you that as an example. They're trying to draw tourists, not just to Selma and Dallas County, but to the state of Alabama. And to do that, they advertise everything, and they want us to make money. So they want us to get more people to watch the birds or anything relevant to our city, to our county. That's why they're doing it. They spend a lot of money on Selma and Dallas County. Money we would never have that kind of money to put up. The Department of Tourism and Films, they do mammoth amounts of work. I'm sure y'all have read Lisa Tell's latest book on the civil rights opportunities in Alabama. The cover of it is Selma. We could never pay for that. Y'all need to get to know Lisa Tell, who's just magnificent at this, and he's trying to help us make money. So that's his goal. He's not trying to do anything selfish. This is to help us.
Okay. Thank you. And let me make a side note very quickly. For everybody that did the gasp that someone out in the chambers spoke, you all know the rule that I've never recognized, but there is a provision within the rules that allows when a council member has a question for someone that we can ask someone to actually speak. And if you'll notice, before Ms. Jones actually spoke, I said, what are we gonna do? I asked a question. And so on that instance, we had someone who is an authority on that issue, who worked with the city many years and was able to address it. I did not want, because we know quickly someone will point and show and say, Council President made favorites, and he lets people speak, and he lets some people speak.
Yeah.
So I'm being clear on the record, that rule is still in force. We do not just let people talk out. But when a council member has a question about something, they can ask someone to address the item. That is allowed within the body of the
President, I
council.
want to see if I can give you a little bit of aid and comfort on that point. You also have a time, place, and manner stipulation that's recognized both by state law and
Thank you. Thank you.
and in our ordinances.
Thank you.
Time, place, and manner, you can always control those.
Thank you.
As the president of the council.
I appreciate that. I just didn't want them to say Billy is starting to let everybody talk. No, that's not the case. But we needed an authority. And Ms. Jones was able to give us some useful information, because that's originally everybody, and I think Councilman Carmichael will bring it up about the exemptions that were in there, but I didn't see this as like when some company comes in and wants to use the bridge to make money for their company. I saw this as the State Tourism Board, which is a public entity of itself, promoting tourism, which we would benefit from as a city, because if people come to Selma to see the bird trail, then our revenue would increase. So it wasn't, and that's why I kept looking at that word commercial, because it wasn't commercial in the sense of like when there's a business coming in. This was another state agency coming in, but Councilman Carmichael read off the exemptions, so I'm still gonna have to go look through there to see if any of those possibly fit. But go ahead, Councilman Carmichael.
In just my opinion, we would need to change this ordinance to include that as an exemption for any tourism minded businesses that are promoting the city of Selma or something, and probably we should. But at this point, I think this is gonna be a vote to waive.
Right. And so,
Instead of an exemption.
right. This is not a clear-cut exemption type issue, so on this one, there would have to be a vote on whether or not to waive. And there may need to be, Councilman Carmichael, I agree, when this type of situation is different. This is different from a company coming in, a business. This is a public entity, which we can benefit from if more people come in. Our conference will increase. So we may twofold, vote whether or not to waive the fee on Tuesday. And then also place on first read to make an addition to the ordinance, an exemption for these type of instances.
And I want to know whether you got this form from, because it should not be on our website. As I said, I already corrected it.
So we still need to do what you're saying, then make them fill out the appropriate form for that, and then we'll just take it up on Tuesday. Okay? Any more questions on that? I know that's tedious, but we're trying to get it right. We're trying to get it right, and I think that we came up with a good solution for now for it. Anyway, that takes care of that one. And Mr. Attorney, are there any outstanding alcohol applications that we need to take up? Any outstanding alcohol? Because I know there was one that we placed on first read. And I don't think we ever got it off of first read yet. I remember it was one a while back.
There may be one, but to be blunt, I don't recall which one, so I can check with the clerk's office.
Okay. If you can check on that, and obviously they hadn't contacted me about it, but still, let's check and see if there are any outstanding applications. Because I know we put one on first read, and we never came back and voted up or down. And we said that we wanted someone who's applying for an alcohol application to start coming before the council during the meeting and have that hearing. I know that it worked well the last time we did it, but somewhere during the council meeting, at the beginning, we do the hearing and then we vote later on it.
That's part of our procedure.
It is.
It's in there.
It is. And the reason it should be a part because it's fair.
Yes.
Because you gotta give people, taxpaying citizens the right to come and have their voices heard. They may object to it. So you gotta be fair and let them object if they want to work.
It's a privilege.
It is. So, I think that's good. Like, Mr. Attorney, let us know if there are any, and if there are some on first read, then, give us a chance to notify those applicants so they can come before and do a hearing at not this council meeting, but the next council meeting. All right, and then the final item I have on here is the MLK Day Weekend 2023. We already know that we're going to be responsible for on MLK Day Weekend 2023, the Education Committee and the Selma City Council. We have an education fair on that Thursday. I put this on the agenda because I want everybody to save their dates for that weekend. I know a lot of us go out of town on that weekend, but hopefully you'll stay in town. But on that Thursday, January the 12th, we'll do an education fair at the Evans Building. And we'll have colleges, we'll have the military recruiters, and we'll have a career fair there, career link there also to help people with resumes and job applications. That's on Thursday. On that Saturday morning of that weekend, there's MLK Day Parade. Last year, Councilwoman Thomas, and James myself participated. Hopefully we'll have more. And on that Monday, Auburn University is coming back to Selma like they did last year. And I know Councilwoman James, Councilwoman Thomas, and Councilman Carmichael, we sent those students to you all's boards. So this year we'll get Councilman Jimison's ward, Councilman Johnson's ward, and Councilman Harvey, and we'll split them up to do work. And they did some good work in those wards that day. So just wanted to, that's on that Monday, the MLK Day of Service. So please put that on your calendars for this year. They're going to be bringing back a whole lot of students again to Selma to do work for us. And I know Councilwoman James got a big event coming up, and I'm sure she's going to tell us about it. That's all the items that I have. Now we'll go back to Councilwoman Thomas if she has.
Yes, before I brought this, I had to do some research. I had the council to vote on, I thought it's a simple problem, for, come to find out since 2013, let me see. Since 2013, it's a serious, we got some major problems. And I understand why Mrs., I can't think of a name that came before us, about Carol Nancy, about the holes caving in. They are, what do you call it? Sewage, pipes are running across there from 2013 up to now, 2022. This has been going on and has been washed away. But the work orders have been in place for years and years. This was done before. It was happening before I came in office. But the prior 6 years that I've been here, I have been complaining about it, have been putting work orders. And she came before this body of the council and told them. So, but I have waited so long and I didn't get a response. And she wanted to make her talk. And I decided to get a contractor, ask the contractor who wanted to fill the hose. But after I met with Ray Hall, I called Ray Hall and the contractor, we met. We have a serious problem with those 3 big holes, which they leads to sewage drain. So what I'm gonna have to do is, I was reading up how I would do this. I will do this Tuesday night. I will put a motion on the floor to take back, to kill the council, the contract for him. And I will make a recommendation for our engineer to have someone from someone with a major, because this is a major problem, that needs to take care of this. Because we're getting ready to go into 2023. And from 2013 and up to the 6 years that I've been in, that's too long. And it's making the problem worse and worse. So I want to, that's why I ask y'all, when we say these are kind of things that are emergency, when it's never been addressed in those many years, and a citizen come before us. So as a representative in that district, I have to do what I need to do to get this taken care of. And that's why I wanted to. And Mr. President, I want to ask you, when you we come back Tuesday on the motion, how would I was reading up something about for the kill the motion, we voted to do the contract. And now I want to come back Tuesday, and I was looking under the procedures of that coming back to that I would like to take that off and put in that I would recommend that we do an engineer. Resend that. I want to resend that.
Yep, that's
yes. I would like to resend that.
You have to rescind that vote.
Yes, I want to rescind that vote Tuesday, that we take this back, and this is, we take care of this, from 2013.
What, was that our last meeting we voted on?
Yes, our last council meeting.
Okay, so just make sure you put in the motion that it's from the meeting, whatever the date of that meeting was.
I know the date.
It didn't specify what that vote was. It did say you would like to rescind that vote taken.
Yeah, I thought we would be able to go, the hole so big, I thought we would be able to go put some dirt and pack it back, get those, because the crates are gone. And when we found out and look, those are sewage pipes that the dirt has washed away. And then it's a public safety issue, because you got kids in that neighborhood, and those crates are dry rot. It's been like that for a minute, and if that's the last thing I do, I would like to, that's too long for,
So first, you can do it more than one way, but I think the easiest way is vote first to rescind that previous vote, and then take the new vote on the new motion.
Okay, and that's what I would like.
That's the easiest.
Yeah, I would like to do that Tuesday night, because I want us to, let's take care of some of our citizens, things that been on their mind.
Okay, very good. All right, council, any committees want to report this time?
Oh, yes. On Saturday, we will have students from Alabama State will be coming in. And I just want to say kudos, because, the city's being cleaned up. I'm kind of trying to find somewhere to go.
Well, you can find somewhere. We can't,
they're not coming to haul, they're coming to just make sure we do some things as, yeah, as a community service. Okay? We'll be getting started at 8 o'clock. Also, the Omegos will be joining in with us on this cleanup. If you're available, please come out. Don't leave me alone by myself. If you leave me alone by myself, I'm just gonna be honest with you, we'll be a reward for it. Thank you. And also on October the 31st, we'll be having a Saint Fest. We call it Saint Fest because it will be housed at Selma High School. We're looking to serve over 700 to 800 kids in the community. We're gonna give out candy, we're gonna have a safe environment for them. The band will be playing, the cheerleaders will be cheered. And this will start exactly after our Monster March. The kids will do the Monster March and then they will come to Selma High in a warm environment to get as much candy as they can get, and then they can go home safe, because that will be a school night. So we don't want them hanging out. And then on that Monday, I'm gonna promote Sunshine. We'll be doing another art event that Tuesday. Yeah, we'll be at Selma High that Monday. We'll be at the art. Running shop. You didn't talk about that one. But I'm just plugging in because we want to do all these things for our kids. We don't want them in the streets. There's so much that we can do ourselves to keep them safe. And we don't want them out there throwing eggs. We don't want them out there doing all this stuff because they have to be in school the next day. But if you would like to donate candy, you can bring it to me. You can drop the candy by Selma High because we ran out of candy the last time. And so you can imagine how much candy we need. About 600 to 700 kids. So if you can donate candy, please do that. You just can drop it off at Selma High. They'll know to give it to Miss James, and either you can call my number or you just can tell me. I'll come by your house, I can come by your job and pick it up. We need as much candy as possible to give out to these babies. Again, I just want to thank you all because every event I do, you all just come out and I'm about the kids. If you call the child name, I'm going to be there. But I'm going to be there Saturday to help the young kids. We probably just go down broad to make sure no papers on the streets, because I found out that there are international students. So just imagine, international students, they probably don't know what picking up paper means. So, but they have to stay together as a group. That's what I found out. So, I don't know why I'm going to take 45 kids at one time.
Put them on both sides of the street.
But that would be a good one. That would be a good one. If you got an event, we can do that event and then go to another place. You got to park in your area, Clay? You got to park in your area?
No. We don't have a park.
You don't have a park?
No.
Okay. Because they got to stay together because some of them don't speak English. So we can't have them across the street and they can't hear us say, here come a car. So if we could get two main areas to clean up.
Yeah, that's good.
Which part?
Block Park.
We can clean Block, yeah, because they can take the bus to Block Park. And that's city owned, so that would be a good one. We can clean up your area. Is there anything in Run Shop Park need to be cleaned?
It's always clean right now.
Okay, well, we'll go to Block Park. What we can do at Block Park?
So what can I do?
Yes.
There's trash everywhere all the time.
Oh, they got.
Okay, we'll go to Block Park. They can stay together. We try to apply, because I don't want them to spread out, because I don't want to be responsible for it. But I do, it's some things down Broad Street, it's some paper on Broad Street and things as well. So I might send the Omegos down Broad and send the bus to Block Park to clean.
And if we don't go to Block Park, I'm with you wherever you want to go.
Okay? Now, wherever we need to go, we'll just.
And there's some areas, like near, in the neighborhood, near like Bypass. Which,
You got Wallace.
you know, that street, I forget the name of the street where the old Tourist Motel was. Race Street.
Okay.
And you know, that's a tough trash is there.
It's clean.
And so that'll give them something to do. So, I know that's one of the areas.
My lady's spot is
No, we're gonna just do 7.
But, Councilwoman James, what you could do, if you could send us an email and let us know where the final, then some of us can come, you know, I'll be able to. Just send us an email and let us know where y'all gonna be and the times you're gonna be there.
But we gotta meet in front of City Hall.
Y'all meet in front of City Hall.
Hold up at 8 o'clock, because because, you know, we have to, we'll be there at 8 o'clock. And then we'll find, we'll do that. So you all just can come out and greet them and just take pictures or what we gotta do. It's a city effort, it's not a Miss James effort.
Very good. Anything else for the committees? Hearing no further business, the Selma City Council, this work session stands adjourned.
Roll tax.
Get out of here.
Roll tax.
I'm here.
Okay, well, it's our part, stay cool. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.